we need to do a better job of, one, not embarrassing our women in public on microphones, and two, understanding that if you are asking for grace from her, you also need to give that same grace to her. What's up, Growing Gang?
Hey,
Welcome
y'all.
back. Hey, did you miss us? I know we'll be taking like a week off in between.
Listen, y'all. Understand that wedding planning is a lot. And wedding planning while also still trying to have a life is also a lot. So
Bruh.
that's the cause of these breaks.
Yeah, we be trying to like find in between pockets where we can record, and just some weeks it don't work.
Sleep prevails over everything.
Bruh, and the sleep we've been needing to get because of all the stuff that we've had to do recently.
Sleep's been great though.
Sleep's been great.
It's been worth it. Love y'all, but I'd rather sleep.
But yeah, welcome back to the Growing Gang podcast. Jesus Christ, the Growing Together podcast. It gets me every time.
Cause you slow.
Welcome back to the Growing Together podcast. Once again, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate y'all. I'm Ejiro.
I'm Mel.
And welcome back. We appreciate everything that you do for us. We appreciate all your likes, comments, shares, subscribes.
Yeah, y'all really been on the road these last couple of clips. And I haven't even posted any clips from like the latest episode. Those have just been like the wedding rant like clips. So I think what I'll probably start doing is like be a week behind. So like now that we're about to post this episode, I'll start posting the newer ones. But
I like that.
Y'all been on the road, and I appreciate the validation and how we've been feeling about the things we are ranting about as far as wedding planning is concerned.
Absolutely.
Because I wasn't sure with my rant on whether or not I was a bridezilla or not, but I didn't think I was. But
I didn't think you were either.
I know, but some people might take what I said and make it seem like I was being a bridezilla, but
No.
I don't know. I feel, not that I feel like I always need validation, but in this moment where I'm like kind of like on shaky ground with not knowing how to handle when things go wrong, because the one little thing and a bride blows up, you're immediately a bridezilla. So I appreciate y'all.
We kind of experienced the one little thing this week.
What? No, that wasn't our fault.
Well, fair. It wasn't our fault.
That wasn't our fault, but we handled it like champs.
Yeah.
And we found a cheaper alternative.
That part.
So,
hey, one thing wedding planning is going to do is teach you how to be resourceful.
yeah, if you ain't got it like that. But I mean, and then if there is a next lifetime, I'm praying that I got, Kardashian money.
That part. Amen.
In
Your mouth
Jesus'
to God's
name.
ears. Yeah, with that being said.
You go first. Peaks, valleys, don't piss me off.
Ooh, okay, you got me. All right. Peak this week was getting our edited engagement pictures back.
Beautiful. 10 out of 10. No notes.
We can't speak about how great, we can't speak enough about how great the Gabriel's Loft team was.
Correct.
And then to get those back, absolutely incredible.
Correct.
Valley is the one thing. Well, my peaks and valleys are both wedding related. The valley was essentially, I had to Karen it up this week. So I actually put this on my story today. If you know me, I am very, very quick to give a review, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent.
Businesses beware, he's the Yelp king.
And in this situation, it was warranted a complaint. Essentially, what happened was we're looking to book.
Keep in mind, no, don't go into the full story, because keep in mind, we still have to get to this wedding. So let's not.
I'm not going to go too deep.
No, for the people who know where this wedding is, absolutely not.
Essentially, we were supposed to get a service, and for lack of a better word and due to lack of communication, the service that we were supposed to get was no longer available. And that warranted me sending a very strong email.
Dear Mr. Hampton.
No, literally.
I am a white woman.
I don't know about white woman.
In New York.
I don't know about a white woman, but
That's your favorite movie.
I know,
fool.
but in this situation, I am so freaking pissed.
He's gonna have a BF. I'm screaming. Go ahead, continue.
See how I worked that in there?
Continue.
So essentially, I had to email the person, and I was like, yo, it seems like you're basically saying, oh, well, tough, without offering an alternative. And considering what we're paying for this service, like, you got to do better than that. Come correct. And in the come correct email, I not only CC'd said person, I CC'd 2 levels of management. Why did that person respond within not even, 8 hours? Within 8 hours, they responded back, apologizing for how they were treating us and gave us everything we asked for and then some more, which I was like, thank you. Where was this yesterday?
Yesterday or within the week in which we were trying to contact them?
Yeah, that part. Because we had tried to contact them for like 3 days with no response. So, yeah, that's my valley. And my don't piss me off will be Shannon Sharp.
I don't know nothing about that situation, but I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I know. All I know is, Unc, you need to stop being so freaked out. First it was Mama Michelle. Now you getting sued. And again, I don't know the full situation, but bro, like, stay out the news. People have tried to warn you about this situation, and it's like you keep putting yourself in there. Like, I just don't get it. Like, that's my don't piss me off. So, how about you? Peaks, valleys, don't piss me off.
My peak would have to be right now, just settling into the last couple months of planning this wedding. I am completely satisfied with the way we went about this.
Period.
I am, especially financially. And I'm really proud of us.
Can we clap it up for ourselves?
Yes. If you would give us an applause button that I've been asking
like you said,
for the past 9 episodes now.
Like you said, in the same way that life has been busy, I haven't had time to mess with the board. But next episode.
He be lying.
Hey, man, keep watching and see if I figure it out by some episode. Keep watching.
Oh, now it went from next episode to some episode.
Yeah, keep watching.
I hope y'all keep a track of this.
See what happens next week.
Whatever on Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, I'm proud of us, and for me, that speaks to our level of teamwork and making sure that things get done together. So I'm not doing that with you.
Come on, one time. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Yeah.
I hate it here. I hate it here so much. But yeah, that's my peak. My valley was the fact that my family canceled Easter dinner.
Aw. But
I do have a hell of a chosen family.
That part.
My friend Nate came through in the clutch and invited us over to eat Easter dinner with his family. And it was a great time. Mm-hmm. We had a really good time.
Had a ball.
So
great food.
Oh yeah, the food was so good.
Food was bomb.
I regret not taking food home.
We were trying to, act like we had some decorum.
I know, but it's okay. But yeah, shout out to Nate. I do appreciate that. That was, you didn't have to do that, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, for real. That was dope, bro. Appreciate it.
We needed like a boo tomato for my family canceling Easter dinner, but whatever. Mm-hmm. My don't piss me off. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna keep this as general as possible.
Oh God, I'm scared.
Ain't no need to be scared.
It's something I did.
You were involved.
Holy crap.
It wasn't you though specifically, but
okay.
you were there. You were involved.
Oh God.
My don't piss me off is lazy people. Because when someone knows you are capable of doing something at a very high level, in other words, if someone knows that you're talented,
it just clicked,
and you just choose to be lazy and disrespectful and hard-headed. When the person that's in there the person that's there is only trying to help you, don't piss me off. Don't piss me the fuck off.
That's fair.
Like I've been waiting days to say this. Don't piss me off. Like, just do what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Do what you're capable of doing.
Yeah. Nobody have an issue.
And don't piss me off. But God is still good.
Amen.
And he will get all of the glory.
Hallelujah.
Whether that glory sounds good or not.
All right.
All right.
What's crazy is you said you weren't going to go in depth and started to go in depth.
I'm sorry.
She needs help.
I'm sorry. We're back though. We back.
All right, we back. All right. So, before we jump into the topic for today, let's do a quick wedding check-in.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Great.
Are you excited?
Every day I get more and more excited.
Oh, tell me more.
Like, first of all, I don't even know who I'm going to be after this wedding is over because I feel like my entire personality right now is bride. And I apologize to all of my family, friends, and coworkers who I don't even know like that. I feel really bad. I'm so sorry that that's all I can think about right now. I am so sorry.
I mean, it's a pretty big event, and we have a pretty big guest count. So
right,
yeah.
but what other brides fail to understand is that for me, I internalize the fact that this wedding is not as important to anyone as much as it is important to me.
Okay, fair.
So while my entire personality right now is a bride, I don't think about anything else other than bridal shower, bachelor party, bachelorette party, wedding ceremony, wedding reception.
Yeah.
That's my entire personality right now. So I am very sorry to all of my friends who probably either haven't heard from me, and if they do, it's only wedding related. I promise y'all, I do care about y'all as people and y'all lives and well-being, but that's all I think about. And I flip-flop between being extremely, extremely excited and like not a bad ready to get this over with, but I'm ready for the day. I flip between that and like a holy shit, we're really doing this.
You actually had that, are we really doing this like today?
Yeah, because
we said we had sent out some information.
Our entire conversation today, there's not one conversation you and I had today that wasn't wedding related.
You're absolutely right.
And every conversation.
And it started at like 9 o'clock this morning.
Every conversation since then has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And
more expensive and more expensive and more expensive.
No, not today. Yesterday's conversation got more expensive as time went by. But today's conversation
All right,
didn't.
fair.
But today's conversation got emotional. I had to excuse myself to the bathroom at work because I had to go cry a little bit.
You want to talk about it?
No.
Can I talk about it?
No. So, yeah, I flip-flop between being really, really excited and holy shit, like, who made me a new adult to be old enough to be a bride. Like
a new adult?
Like, we the new adults.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. I was about to say, you've been an adult for a minute, babe.
Not mentally. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm a Toys R Us kid forever.
Fair.
So every hour it's a new feeling, but I'm grateful to be in this position. So
I think for me, and in my wedding check-in, what's been hitting me the most is like when new things that are wedding related start arriving.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me has been the stuff that's been coming from Nigeria.
Bro?
Yeah. And it's been great to see. Like, a lot of this has been ideas inside our head, and now we're actually getting them back. And it's like, again, that's where I start the holy shit, we're actually doing this.
This moment deserves a big shout out. Shout out to you, Mom. You have been the real MVP.
Facts.
Since like we've started to get real close to the wedding. From organizing material coming from Nigeria.
Oh, for everybody. For
Not
me.
Just everybody.
For us, for the engagement, for the actual wedding, for the bridesmaids, for the groomsmen.
Our internal family.
For the family, for guests. Yeah.
I don't know how she's doing it with all the stuff that she's got going on. And bear in mind, technically this is public information. She has 2 kids getting married within a year.
Yeah, within a couple months of each other, actually.
So she has a lot on her plate. And she hasn't dropped the ball.
Not one time.
Once.
Not once.
So shout out to you, Superwoman. You deserve all the accolades.
This will be a great time
will
to have
you.
an applause button.
All right. Just ruin my moment. Anyway, but what's really been hitting me is just like when things are arriving. And also, funnily enough, excuse me, what also has been hitting me is people like actually coming up to me and being like, I know you're getting married soon. Like, how are you feeling? Like, what's been interesting is people who have been like checking in to see how we're doing mentally, which lets me know that we really picked a strong village.
Correct.
So, and that stems from Jate actually messaging me recently, like, hey bro, like, how are you feeling? What's going on? I know I'll see you soon. Like, tell me how you're feeling, where you at mentally, how's the wedding planning coming, how's the progression of everything. So we picked a really dope crew. Truthfully, I think our bridal party,
they the best.
Are
they
really
the best.
solid.
Hey man, our bridal party.
And with that being said, I can't wait.
The best.
I can't wait for my bachelor party.
We're gonna have to film 2 episodes this week in order for us to be able to have one while you're gone, because you're gone next week.
Or I could just be gone, come back, and the episode we record when I come back is a recap of my bachelor party.
Or that. I'm okay with that.
So actually, you decide. Let us know in the comments. Should we take a break for another week and then you get a recap episode? Or
should we just double up on the episode before he leaves, and then the episode after next week be his recap?
Yep.
So up to y'all.
All right. With that being said, we are going to go into today's topic. So, in the topic of love and blah, 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 blah. I hate that I said blah, 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 blah. I know you hate that too. But in the topic of love and everything,
love, marriage, and bullshit.
Love, marriage, and bullshit.
I didn't go into this episode blind this time, y'all. And
so she couldn't go into the episode blind for one reason. She had to watch something that we're actually going to discuss. So today's episode is titled Struggle Love.
Sorry.
Struggle Love. Struggle Love. Struggle Love. Struggle Love.
To the beat of Squabble Up.
Yep.
You've been putting everything to the beat of Squabble Up this week.
Hey,
is that your favorite song right now?
No, it's just that people have been choosing situations that require them to either get beat up or want to beat somebody up.
Okay, go ahead.
So this episode is based on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. And essentially what we're going to discuss is one of the episodes. Insert the picture here. Note to the editor. So in this episode, essentially a pastor and his wife go through their experiences of their life and what gets them through marriage, or how they got through to their marriage. And I have never been more irritated at a podcast than I was at this one. I would say pause here and go watch it, but I don't even think you should, because that was just absolutely horrible to watch. Now, my biggest thing is, as a man, a male gendered human being, we need to do a better job, especially as black men, of not taking mics and embarrassing our women. How would you feel if I got on a podcast and told the world that you weren't my preference, but you were my purpose? FYI, she's probably going to get very pissed this episode, so watch this space.
You want me to actually answer that question?
Yes.
Okay, that's where we're starting.
That's where we're starting.
How would I feel if you got on a podcast and said that I was not your preference, but I was your purpose?
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I don't know how to express that in this moment, how I would feel about it. But what I will say is that even in that moment, if I was said woman that you said that about, I still wouldn't know how to express that, because I would walk off and pack my shit. And by the time you left the podcast, I'd be at the crib. I mean, I'd be gone from the crib. Like,
okay, let me add more to that. What if I told you that you weren't my preference because I typically date I typically date light-skinned Latino women that are about $125, and you are dark skinned black, or well, she's not even dark skinned. She's light skinned black, and like 200 pounds.
I say, well, first of all, stop asking me questions about how I would feel about it because it'll never be me. So like, you will never get anywhere in this podcast episode if you keep asking me how I would feel if it happened to me because.
Oh no, I'm poking the bear. Because it's only gonna get worse. Because this man had the nerve to tell this woman that she was an auntie at the age of 18.
That's not a question. I don't know what you want me to say. I ain't got nothing for you in this moment. I don't have nothing.
But I feel like your blood is starting to boil.
Oh, it's been boiling since I watched that episode.
So as part of this, I made her watch the entire episode. And one thing about this episode, it glorified the idea that you had to struggle in love to make it to the good times.
All right.
Thank you. I'm trying to get my podcast host to engage with me, but she's purposely holding back.
So you are correct that for whatever reason, we believe that there is some sort of struggle that a couple has to go through in order to get to the finish line.
Does the struggle have to include abuse?
No.
Because in this situation, she literally said that God graced her with the grace to be able to iron her husband's clothes
and run him bubble baths before he went to go cheat. Yeah.
How is any of that a part of a love story?
As a Christian, I don't believe that life is going to be easy just because you are a Christian. However, anything that is that disrespectful is not love. To me, I can't tell you what your preference is and what any other woman is going to be able to put up with. Mm-hmm. But I'm not doing that. I'm not going from one day. She's talking about how, because back then they didn't have GPS and all of this when they got married. I'm not going from one day being on top of, like standing or sitting on the hood of your car while you inside it because you in the club to the next week without warning because I had a vision from God to iron your clothes, rub your feet, and run you a bath before you go see your side chicks, and then you don't come home for 72 hours after you've been with them.
One of my biggest problems with that episode is the fact that they continuously tried to use God to justify their bad behavior.
Let me tell you something.
I have never been quoted so many scriptures at me in an hour.
Even the devil know the Bible.
Ooh.
Not to say that this man is the devil. But there were some spirits that were not good roaming all through their life.
Oh, absolutely.
All through their life.
God graced me with this.
My problem though is with all of the scriptures is that it is very easy for anybody, especially with the like English Standard Version and the Message versions of the Bible. It is very easy to manipulate scripture to get a particular verse to say what you want it to say.
That part.
I think a lot of problems with the church is that we don't read full chapters or
context.
I'm saying like full chapters or full books. Like there's no studying going on with when it comes to the Bible. Because really, I personally enjoy pastors who can preach from a passage that I haven't heard or that's not popular. Mm-hmm. He used all of like the hot button scriptures. He Romans 8:28 said.
He used isms.
And like your average churchgoer know these. Mm-hmm. And those are the ones that you can manipulate to saying whatever it is you want to say. Like it's very disheartening, and it's disheartening as a Christian to see things like that continuously happen, because it makes sense to me why, especially people our age who grew up in church, it makes sense to me why so many of us left.
On top of that, to add to that, one thing I'm noticing is specifically in the Black community, yes, I'll take it like this. More men are starting to come back to church. More women are leaving church.
Okay.
And I think the reason that is because the church and in quite a lot of ways is starting to go back to that traditionalist view, which to a degree subjugates women. And in this episode, all I heard was justification after justification trying to use the word to basically say that women should suffer.
Yeah. Well,
but this is just specifically towards this episode.
Yeah. Well, not specifically towards this episode. What I said earlier after we got done like finishing the entire episode, for whatever reason, and I am a churchgoer. I am of
You're
Baptist.
not a churchgoer. You are a Christian.
I am a Christian, but I'm an active member of my church as well.
There we go.
And this is coming from somebody who has taken a break from the church for a while and who, you know, I had to crawl my way back into faith for one reason or another. But this is what I said when we got done watching it. It's just that for whatever reason, the Black church specifically has equated, or I ain't gonna say has equated. The Black church specifically has glorified struggle, like struggle in religion, struggle in God.
Struggle in life.
Struggle. It's if you really think about it, it's always been this way because it's the difference. It's the reason why Ricky Smiley in one of his old stand-ups can make the joke that Black churches and white churches preach and teach and even worship differently. Mm-hmm. All of the songs that a white church is gonna sing is God is love, God is patient, God is a good God, God is a kind God.
And Black church is wade in the water.
It's not even so much Black church is wade in the water. Black church is better by Hezekiah Walker. Black church is telling you like whatever you're going through is gonna get better. Mm-hmm. Why does my life have to get? Why can't we preach and teach about how God's love can sometimes can just be that good?
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be wade in the water. It's better. It's better by and that's a great worship song, but Black church glorifies struggle for whatever reason. And unfortunately, in my opinion, this couple, with all of their struggles, have made that and have taken the struggle in the Black church and have monetized it using their struggle love story.
Before we even get there, because I think that's where I wanted to end. You know who else glorified bad behavior? The parents of the husband.
Okay.
So remember when she talks about the story of how she was working as I forgot, it was a dispatcher, and they were chasing an armed robbery suspect, and then later on, as they catch the people, they find out it's him. He gets arrested. He says that he prays to God and he asks that God, if you could get me out of this, I'll become a preacher. He says, in his words, 3 seconds later, they tell him to roll out of jail. He's on bond. He walks out and he tells his dad, I'm ready to be a preacher. And his dad says, well, if you're ready to be a preacher, you and your wife can come clean my church every Thursday.
Monday and Thursday.
Why is the wife being now involved in your bullshit?
I can't answer that.
And then on top of that, the mom of his mom kept telling the wife, even while he was serially cheating on her, that she needs to stay. He's a good man. How? Parents need to do better. Specifically, moms need to do better jobs of holding their sons accountable.
I mean, true, but she didn't hold her husband accountable. Because if you also remember when he was talking about the way he grew up, he said he was at some little illegal type casino type area or whatever, and somebody there was telling him like, yeah, I remember when your dad used to come in here with different women. He thought that was a flex, but then somebody else who was older than the last person was telling him, yeah, I remember when your grandfather used to come in here with different women, this, that, and the third. So like his grandmother and his mama already put up with the same things. And that was, the grandfather was a deacon and his father was a preacher. And then here he come also being a preacher.
It's just really, really sad that, and unfortunately, she's also a part of the problem. The wife.
Correct.
She literally kept saying like, I never saw my worth. Like,
oh no, it wasn't even. No, that's not even what she said. That's not even what she said. Oh. That's not even what she said.
Ladies and gentlemen, the trigger worked.
Sis said, I didn't have any value. I didn't have any worth.
Yeah, she did.
And then proceeded to say that the reason why, so it got to a point where it seemed like the host was kind of trying to play devil's advocate, but like
the host is a dickhead too.
But he was keying right along with
the
him.
host is a dickhead. He's literally using them to monetize his own platform. There's no way, absolutely, that you can say that you're looking for your wife and you're a Christian man, and then you bring these people on, and your spirit of discernment doesn't tell you that they're snake oil salesmen.
That's tough. I hope they don't see this.
I don't care if they do. Because also what's quiet is kept, before we even get too far off of it, they actually had a recap episode with a psychologist, and the husband and wife, and the woman starts backtracking everything she says, and the host just sits there looking stupid and just saying, I'll show you. I promise you, if I can find it, I'll add it into the podcast. I don't know if that might be copyrighted. If I can't, I can't.
Just show me.
But I'll show it to you after.
Yeah.
Like literally, she got run down by a psychologist and was like, that just triggered the memory. One big thing that was a big problem that she said to me was when the host questioned her about why she never checked her husband and why she never, and what should she say to women who have to put up with this? And she said, that's why you're single?
Now, why would you just steal? See, this is my problem. That's why you don't listen. That's what I was finna say. Hey.
Go ahead, my love.
No, you didn't set it out. No, I'm playing. The nerve of her to say that the reason why most women, specifically Black women, are single is because we are not willing to put up with what she put up with. The nerve of you and the audacity of you. You want to know something? The realest and the most authentic thing that she said on that entire podcast was that everybody ain't me. That was the best and most authentic and the realest thing she ever said on that and throughout that entire hour and 20 some odd minutes is that everybody ain't me.
Facts.
Thank God that there are not more women roaming around like you.
You're a doormat.
That was horrible. That was horrible. And I'm granted, I may not be the most qualified person to talk about marriage
because we're not
married yet. But what I do know about is relationship. And it doesn't, regardless if it's platonic or romantic, what I do know about is relationship. No one is saying that every relationship is going to be perfect.
Agreed.
Nobody is saying that you will not have hard times. Nobody is saying that you will always be the perfect person. Nobody is saying that like you won't, like especially when it comes to a romantic relationship, that you will always like your partner. Mm-hmm. Nobody is saying any of that. However, you are not going to sit up here and disguise cheating and disrespect and call it the building phases of a 30-some-odd year marriage.
Cheating, disrespect, verbal abuse. This man literally, like he said that he used to tell her that he said the first time he met her, he said that, I think I wrote it down. Hold on one second.
Not you took notes.
Oh, I took notes.
Of course you did.
He said that she had no value and that she was cute, but she was fat.
And she proceeded to say, okay, let him in the dough. Continuously feed him while starving herself. But that's how you get to a 30-some-odd year marriage?
I don't want that.
May this love never find. And I was going through the comments as I was watching the... Because the real reason why I was going through the comments, because I know, let's be real, I knew it was more than likely going to be more women than men watching this podcast.
Oh, for
and
sure.
If there were going to be with the women that were commenting, I knew they were all going to I knew all the people that watched, there were going to be mostly women that commented.
Yeah.
I was just curious to see if there were going to be any women who were empathetic
towards her
or agreeable to anything that she was saying. Mm-hmm. Every woman was like, may this love never find me. Never, 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 never. I am not saying that in these 6 years that we have not been through some stuff. I'm not saying that we haven't had some uncomfortable ass conversations. But if one of the first uncomfortable conversations is about how you're not attracted to me, I think that's a sign that we're not supposed to be together.
That basically tells you exactly why he cheated on you. He didn't like you.
And oh my God. And then proceeds to cheat for the next 5 years.
So essentially, what I've come to understand is that like cheating can happen in relationships, right? But to cheat for 5 years?
Choices are made.
Choices were made. And you were ironing his clothes to go cheat.
Because she had a 2-second dream and vision that this man was going to be a preacher, and that was enough to stay.
All I'm saying is the Bible says
to the point, time. To the point where she told this nigga, I'm moving out. I'm through. I'm done. She packing. I don't know if this is during his like 72-hour stint and when he just doesn't come home, or if like she took a nap during the day while he was at work or something.
Yeah.
This nigga comes back and she's still there instead of packed and gone with their 2 kids.
He knew you wasn't leaving.
No, he did. He walked back in the house and said, "Y'all still here?"
I think I might have missed that part of the episode.
I thought told this woman I thought y'all was leaving. I thought you was out. Vamos. Gone.
Sayonara. Arrivederci.
You lucky I don't know what gone is in Korean. Motherfucker said, I'm sorry, y'all. I try not to use those type of words. But this man proceeded to tell his wife, he thought he was scot-free. Out here finna go. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, drop some dick off.
And then walked in the house and said, I thought y'all was leaving. Then in the next breath, wanted to talk about how, oh no, I wasn't finna let her go because I grew up in a 2-parent household and I told her no other man was finna feed my kids. Nigga, what happened to when you was expecting her to be gone?
Bruh. He said a lot of things.
That whole podcast was full of a bunch of fucking contradictions. And
that's exactly what I was about to say.
At the end was like, we're selling a relationship.
Wait, we ain't even got there yet.
The ABCs of marriage, where Q is quality time. A is
I forgot. I didn't even take.
Affirm.
I didn't take.
A is affirm. Make sure you have affirm your partner in
public. Yep. And then J is for jabs.
While you're fucking tearing down the institute. I see why niggas don't want to get married.
I get it.
I don't know where I just found this energy from, y'all, but like,
you're pissed.
I just. As a woman who's about to get married, I can promise you that it don't take all that.
It
don't take all that, y'all. It don't take all that. Please save yourselves from heartache and struggle, because a lot of us don't heal completely the more we go through so much stuff.
Yeah.
We don't heal completely. We will say that we are over it, but we will still live with all of that baggage, and there will be several walls up. And you'll be like, oh, you'll feel like those walls are cool because like maybe they like little screens. They got little screens that you can see through. But
until you looking through that screen and you see him talking to a church member for a little too long.
And you want to,
oh yeah. That was a segue into the church.
Wait. But that's even happening. These women are coming up to him and you feel like you need to check these women, and you are pastor now.
Wait, let's get to the pastor stuff. So after they got through their 5 years of cheating and they're married, he decides that he wants to be a preacher, and then has the nerve on this podcast to say that somebody told him that black preachers have the message but don't have the process. So he said he didn't went to go.
First of all, it's somebody didn't tell him that. This is how I know you wasn't paying attention. His daddy told him that.
Okay, cool.
His father, who is a preacher,
y'all,
told him that black men who become preachers they have the message but don't have the process or whatever, and then proceeded to leave his son's church. And his son basically said, I can do it on my own anyway.
Yep.
But the son, and this is not a jab at anybody. It's not, because there's a specific huge mega preacher pastor who comes to mind, who I was once a virtual watcher of his. Mm-hmm. But he's saying that they have the message, but they don't have the proper process. He said that because my man's didn't go to seminary school.
Nope. He basically became a backyard pastor.
However,
but God can call anybody. Not to say that God can't.
That's what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying like it's not necessarily a jab at any other preacher that has not gone to seminary school.
It's a jab at him.
Yeah, because if your sermons, sir, I'm not talking directly to him. I'm not. If his sermons are anywhere near if his sermons are anywhere near what that was like on the podcast where he's just quoting scripture to back up whatever thought he just had in that moment, then I don't even understand well, I do understand how you have so many followers.
Absolutely. You're speaking to people who are trauma bonding with your message.
Ooh. That's good.
A lot of people
I hate podcast people like that. Ooh.
A lot of people. That's the host.
Oh. Yeah.
Say that again.
That part. That part.
A lot of
no, but sorry. I just hate podcasters like that.
A lot of people who come to church nowadays are looking for a feel-good message. And in watching that podcast, they're not preachers, they're motivational speakers. They're motivational speakers.
Yeah.
They're here to try to sell you something, try to make you feel good. And
but if you really think about it, the reason why that sells now is because the preachers of our past so struggle.
They're a Tyler Perry movie.
What? No.
They're a Tyler. Tell me they're not.
Tyler Perry ain't did nothing.
But tell me they are not a Tyler Perry movie.
Explain why you think they are Tyler Perry movie.
What makes Tyler Perry movies so successful is the fact that he continuously repackages the same black trauma and sells it back to black people.
What? Leave Mr. Perry out of this. We about
Am I
to
not
get a
wrong?
cease and desist.
Mia Kupla, all the different Medeas. Where somebody
Medea was funny.
Where somebody cheating, Medea tell him to hit over the head with a frying pan, or Medea comes threatening with a gun, and then all of a sudden his life changes and he back to understanding why he never messed up and he should have loved her in the beginning. That was their story. It's just that Medea in this case was his mama.
Medea was not his mother.
Oh yeah, because Medea told the woman to stay. Anyway. One of the biggest thing I had, or another big problem I had with the entire story that they had was they said that they told that even after the 5 years, and they're now married X amount of years. You pissing me off. They're married X amount of years. They're now preachers in a big church. She said she wanted to divorce him.
Right.
And then they go up in front of their church. And he basically tells the church that they are in a working relationship only and that he doesn't like her. Even to the point where they were when he would go to intercessory prayer and she would ask him to pray with her, he would tell her, I do not want to pray with you. I would pray with the intercessory group, but I wouldn't pray with you. She also then said at some point that essentially, I had a real toxic situation where what she called it, the unholy trinity, where he was my husband, my pastor, and my boss, because she became an executive pastor, and all of a sudden, everything that would go wrong in the church was her fault. She was holding on to people too long.
She was too nurturing.
She was too she was too maternal, is the word she used. Everything in that video screamed to me as a man that man does not like that woman. She was a warm body. Free food.
No. That's not, it's not his preference. It's just his purpose.
Well, he
would not have been able to go and to step into the purpose. Hallelujah. That God had given.
And she rounded it all off with, if my purpose was to be a helpmate to him, I have done enough.
Let me tell y'all something. When she said that, there was multiple parts that pissed me off. But that part pissed me off the most. Because her full sentence was basically like, if if they didn't have any of this, didn't have the church and the money that they have, the status and all of this, after they got done talking about how Pastor T.D. Jakes and all these other big pastors
Have
are
come to
friends
minister at their church.
of theirs now and they preach. But if they had none of it, and her only purpose was to be his helpmate, she would be okay with it. You're lying.
You're lying. You lie.
Okay.
The filthy earth woman lies.
Please, honey, please. You're lying because if you were still in that shack of a house that you grew up in that same neighborhood.
And the man's still cheating.
And even if he wasn't still cheating.
They just broke.
They're just living, let's be real and be honest about it. Part of the reason why they're still happy now in this space is because of now the status and the money that comes in from being in a relationship.
Yeah.
She loves him. He doesn't love her. But what pissed me off about it is when people say, because it doesn't only apply to this situation. When people say things like, oh, even if I didn't have this, I would still be happy. Even if I didn't have that, I would still be happy. You are speaking of a place of privilege. Because people who are in that space, you would look down on. A woman who's come into her church who's I just realized what you just did. It was the face you made that like threw me. That's the face you made is what gave it away. Like that was good. That was good because you integrated that seamlessly.
Thank you.
Wow, 10 out of 10, no notes. I was trying to be serious. No, people who say things like that, they say it from a place of privilege. Because if you actually were in that position, you wouldn't be singing this same song. You weren't happy when you was at home with the 2 kids and you leaving them with whomever or by themselves or whatever to track him down to see where he at because he's cheating and he been gone for 72 hours and this, that, and the third. You're speaking of a place of privilege because that's what's in your past. But a person who come to your church who's putting up with that same sort of thing, you're not gonna, if you ever sit in front of a woman's face and tell her that that's what she has to put up with in order for them to be successful, you're doing that woman and that couple a complete disservice. Because every person's purpose is not the same. Every woman who's sitting there and dealing with what she dealt with is not going to end up in that same position.
Yeah.
5, 10, 20, 30 years down the line, she damn well may be in that same position. Still dealing with that same ain't shit ass nigga.
Yeah.
But my problem is that because the black church loves to preach and loves struggle so much, we package it, we put religion all up in it, and we put a postcard on it that say God's love.
Yep. Whew.
That's my problem. I don't believe that it's God's intention for us to struggle. But on top of that, and I never thought I would ever quote that podcast, tonight's conversation, but I love, there was it Trip and
Keita.
No, not Keita. Kitty. Every now and then, they drop some real life gems. And the only thing I could think of in watching that particular podcast was there one where Kitty Rose was telling this woman, like trying to explain to her why a woman came from a man's rib. And in this particular situation, the analogy, she was like, you need to understand why a woman did not come from his foot, because a woman was not meant to be trampled over.
Yeah.
That's what this woman failed to understand in her relationship, and even now in her 32 years.
She got dog walked.
A woman is not meant to be there. You're not. I'm not meant to be. Me as your helpmate is not to be your steps. I'm not under you. I'm not under you, nor am I above you. But I'm for damn sure ain't under you.
Yeah.
All of that talking and such that she did, her husband did on there, laughing and kikiing and trying to make light of
abuse,
of abuse and toxic relationship and marriage, and packaging it up in religion is doing them, anybody who watched that podcast that believes in it, their church members, a disservice. Because I can only imagine what their sermons are like.
Ooh, yeah.
I can only imagine what Sundays look like. Imagine what she put up with right? And let's say they have like a women's day.
And what you would tell the women.
Imagine a sermon from her on Mother's Day. While your kids are in this, your husband can't be your husband, your boss, and your pastor, but they can be your kid's father, pastor, and boss.
Yeah.
No. A man who cannot humble himself before, if we cannot humble ourselves together before God, then we can't do nothing.
And the problem with him, he used so much Christian symbolism to, for lack of a better term, brainwash her. Like after all the cheating and stuff that he did, how he chose to apologize was washing her feet. Like
that was on purpose.
Like
in public.
He to me came
in the middle of like choir rehearsal.
He to me came off as a master manipulator who knows how to punch you in one hand and tell you like you made me do it.
He punches you in one hand and give you flowers in another one.
Like he was absolutely abusive.
Because here's the thing, not one time during the washing of the feet did he say that he said I'm sorry. The washing of the feet
was his repentance.
Was his way of saying I'm sorry.
Yep.
At no point did they say that he said I'm sorry.
And to me, one thing I want to make very, very clear is that love doesn't have to hurt.
No. And if it does, it doesn't have to hurt all the time.
I don't understand this message that really is being pushed. And I actually was thinking about this on my drive to work. The reason why we see messages like this and they permeate so much into the social media sphere is the fact that good relationships and good messages don't often get the traction that they need, one. And two, people who are in really good and healthy relationships are sitting back at home, enjoying their relationships and laughing at shit like this.
Correct.
This was absolutely horrible to watch. If I was a member of that church, I would be absolutely disgusted. I would be scared for the message that you're trying to indoctrinate onto my kids. Oh,
please, they're eating this up. They gotta be eating it up. They are so happy that there are other people who get a chance to hear this story of love and hope and redemption
and trials and tribulations.
Because when you said earlier that you felt like the host was full of shit because you felt like how was he looking for a wife after hearing that story? Mm-hmm. It was all laid out because after the podcast, he takes whatever he felt like he learned from whatever couple he just interviewed and he writes that note. He felt like that was a story and a testament of real love, of forgiveness, of redemption, but most importantly, second fucking chances. And that's what he wanted his wife
to give him.
To know.
Oh,
that was his letter.
That was his
dog
excuse.
The fuck out of you, but give me a second chance because in Jesus' name.
I'm going to say this, and like you said, we're not married. We don't know marriage yet.
Honestly, we could let me put this out. We could be completely wrong about how we feel about this.
Absolutely. This is all speculation and based on what they put out.
Well, not even so much that. What I mean is that like I will tell anybody, I don't take advice from anybody whose life I don't feel like I would love to model myself after.
Yeah.
So for us, you can look at us and be like, well, y'all ain't even married yet. So how do y'all even have an opinion?
And that's your opinion.
Which is 100% valid though. It's valid. You can take this with a grain of salt, or you could hear what we saying and be like, and comment and be like, no, y'all the ones that's really on bullshit, and explain your reasons and everything why, which is perfectly fine and okay. However, take that same message and apply it to the person who in your family you care about the most and everything that she went through. And it could be man or woman. Apply that situation to them and then tell me if they deserve to go through that.
Yeah.
And then you tell me whether or not our opinions based off lack of experience is valid.
I'm going to talk to the men now. A lot of men come into relationships expecting women to be able to cook, clean, be an already made woman.
Oh, we got to build with y'all.
Why do women have to build us? Why do women have to say, you got to build up your man? I understand support. I understand helping each other create a life. But why does that have to encompass?
Creating a life together is not what they were doing.
It's not. What they were doing was he was taking advantage of her. Mm-hmm. He was absolutely using her. And at the end, when everything fell apart in his life and he looked like he was about to go to prison for X amount of years. That's when he chose to commit to her. Why do, honestly, and I'm black, so I only deal with black women. I've only ever dealt with black women. Why do black women have to have a life of struggle? Why do they have to have a love of struggle? Haven't they been through enough already? Why do black men continuously push this narrative of black women having to be strong and having to, like, do you realize why they are the way they are now and are so jaded when it comes to relationship? It's not just because of all the things that the world has done to them. It's the shit that we're doing to them now. Being a black man, our job is to really protect our women. We're not supposed to test them in love. We're not supposed to, oh, well, I'm going to go do me when you ready. No. Personally, and this is my own personal feeling, I am never going to do anything that is going to not only jeopardize my relationship, but in any way hurt or affect my woman. Yes, will I make mistakes as a human being? Absolutely. I'm not going to be perfect 100% of the time. I am never going to intentionally try to hurt you. And what men need to get into their head is the fact that we need to do a better job of, one, not embarrassing our women in public on microphones, and two, understanding that if you are asking for grace from her, you also need to give that same grace to her. And with that being said, that's all I have to say on this episode.
Wait, hold on. That only last thing I will say just to women, black women specifically, is know your worth, know your value, and don't put up with anything you wouldn't want your mother, your grandmother, your nieces, your best friends, your future daughters, or whatever. Don't put up with nothing that you wouldn't want them to put up with, or something that you feel like you would have to hide from the person who, who cares about you the most.
Yep.
Know your worth. She felt like that woman went through a lot of what she went through, and this is her words, because she said that she had no value. Now, I can't tell you whether or not those were her words and how she actually felt about herself, or is that what my man's convinced her of?
Or what life had convinced her
of. Or what
of.
life had convinced her of. But you have worth. You have value. What's one of the best loves that you can get or have is your self-love. Love yourselves, ladies. Please, please. And don't lower your standards for bullshit. Because you deserve the soft life. You deserve a soft love. Not to say that you won't have hard times, because life and love can be hard.
I said it last time.
But that's single or in a relationship. Life and love can be tough.
Speaking of single, the church, stop weaponizing being married in singleness. Singleness is not a curse.
My Lord.
Like, people can be single. People can choose to be single. Being married is not the be-all, end-all.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of y'all in the church who chose marriage and are miserable and have been miserable and are only keeping up appearances to be a part of the church. Get over yourselves.
That's another episode if you really want to talk about it. But
men also, I just got hot.
Go ahead.
Men, if you would not want your daughter to go through what you're putting their mother through, do fucking better.
Yeah.
Do fucking better. And with that being said, all things are in divine order. Keep giving Greg. Any final words?
Yeah, man.
Because we've tried to give the final words for and we just keep getting pissed about the subject, because it's like people just expect and want black love to be just so hard. Why can't we have that singing in the rain together and dancing in the rain together, R&B type love?
Well, they were singing about struggling in love too. Black R&B ain't
no,
probably
I'm talking
the best
about
example.
Actually when they catch each other and
right, but that's usually like a reunited sort of thing.
Oh,
after
my
the
bad.
blue.
No,
Yeah.
well, goes to show that I'm not from here.
So, all I'm saying is just, it's what you say all the time. Just make sure that when you are in relationship, that you like the person and that the person likes you. You can love somebody and not like them.
That part.
Like the person that you're with. enjoy their personality, their presence. It's like my mom always says that, like, if your peace doesn't match my own personal peace, then we probably shouldn't be together.
Oof.
I already have peace on my own. So if you can't bring a peace with that, and it doesn't even have to be like a overarching peace that like just supersedes mine. But if you can't bring a peace that at least matches mine, then we can't do nothing. So just make sure, don't make your life harder and make stupid decisions. I hate to be that harsh, but don't, because sometimes we know when we're making stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to love and relationships, we ignore those red flags and convince ourselves that they're orange. They're not.
Be your own worst enemy.
They're not. But just be with somebody who you like and who likes you back. Love yourselves, and
or nobody will.
And also, if you're gonna be in church, find a church that don't package struggle and give it to you and call it God's love. Because I don't go to a church where it's packaged like that.
Yeah.
So, that's just my own personal experience in church. But just be better, know better, do better, and grow together.
Oh, way to work that in.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I will say I encourage you to go watch the episode. No, I'm actually
don't get that shit more views.
No, the reason I would say go watch the episode is because if you don't believe what we're saying to be the truth,
about how bad the shit was,
go actually watch the episode and then come back. And I would like you to actually comment underneath and tell us your thoughts. Tell us your feelings about struggle. Let's actually amplify this message of love doesn't have to be struggle. Let's amplify that. Let love be beautiful. Let love be special. Let love be oneness.
Well, I don't know what the scripture is, but let love be what God said it's supposed to be. Let love be patient. Let love be kind. Like he going to quote scriptures. Let's quote that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not, I'm not a preacher or nothing, so I can't tell you where in the Bible to find it. And I can't tell you what the rest of that scripture said either.
Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy or boast.
All that.
Something like that. Yeah, either
and
way.
Don't go by, no, that was about to be me.
What you about to say?
Nothing. I'll tell you after
Don't
the
go buy
podcast.
that book. Don't go buy that book.
The ABCs of toxicity.
It's basically a self-help book. Probably got coloring spaces. Oh, they did say they had work exercises.
All right, y'all. And with that being said,
you gonna do the
what
close
is
out?
it?
All things are in divine.
All things are in divine order. Give grace to yourself and others when deserved,
when necessary,
and deserved, and deserved,
and deserved.
Some of y'all niggas don't deserve it. I'm not good at the sign.
Literally.
Go ahead.
Every single day we stray further and further away from God's grace. Because what's that?
My bad. Go ahead.
All right.
Do
y'all.
the next right thing.
All right.
And grow together.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. We want to hear your thoughts. You know the deal. Peaks and valleys on the bottom. Follow us on Instagram.
Growing Together Pod. I'm discombobulated today. I don't know. It'll be linked or something.
Click the links in the bottom to follow us on all social media platforms. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, all things are in divine order. Mm-hmm. Give grace to yourself and others where necessary, and keep doing the next right thing.
That part.
And until next time, keep growing together. Bye, guys.